1 drugs, please.
My man.
The evolution of the Final Fantasy franchise has been nothing short of revolutionary when it comes to setting a standard in its genre and being one of the first to tell a deep and engaging story. Final Fantasy VII being a prime example of that more than any other game in the series. One of the challenges of single-player games is creating an experience that keeps the player around all year long, or in some cases multiple years. In the last few years, games as a service were birthed onto consoles where players were spending in some cases every day playing these games, even after enjoying everything the story had to offer. While I know the Final Fantasy VII Remake will not be a games with service, there are ways to broaden what can be offered to players and entice them to return frequently. In Final Fantasy XV, we saw limited time events make an appearance. This was the start of the Moogle, Chocobo, Carnival, and later on initiated collaborations with other video games. I believe this could be one of the ways the Final Fantasy VII Remake could entice players to return even after completing what the base game has to offer. In addition, Final Fantasy XV included a rotating hunt system that would put players up against formidable foes. Upon completing these hunts, players were awarded a currency that could then be exchanged for a variety of different in-game rewards. Both these type of activities would be right at home with the Final Fantasy VII Remake, giving players another way to enjoy the first installment while waiting for later sequels. Development times can be long, and the time between in the best case scenario would need to be filled as to keep fans invested in the world of Midgar. While DLC could very well be an option, it would be best to avoid investing crucial parts of the story into content that some fans may never play, as in the case of Final Fantasy XV. So what would be an example of the content we could see in the Final Fantasy VII Remake that creates more of a living and changing world? Live events and collaborations would certainly be welcomed. However, seeing as that would be for limited time periods, we would require something ongoing, from week to week. The best example of this is a bounty board. In a best case scenario, this would be a weekly rotation of enemies that have been enhanced for a much greater challenge. Defeating these enemies would result in currency that could then be spent on in-game items. They could introduce seasonal items through this as well to go with the variety of festivities that happen all year round. Leaderboards, while not the most interesting thing, could add a competitive layer to the remake, competing for the fastest completion time on that week's set of monsters, and players could then be rewarded for ranking well on the leaderboards. I'm sure there are many other things Square Enix can do that will keep gamers coming back every week. I invite you to share ideas that I may have overlooked in the comments. Regardless of what they do, I know I will be playing this game with the goal of completing everything possible and popping that platinum trophy. As always, thank you all for the continued support. Please like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, link is in the description. I will talk to you guys on the next one. Take care.